Welcome to your magical moon message. This is Peace Dealer, the Peace Dealer, on another unimaginably hot day. I mean, it's not unimaginably hot yet, but it's definitely gonna get there. Jesus Christ, look at the sun just attempting to murder everyone here. Don't be fooled. The sun is actively trying to kill. Well, let me not say that. Anyway, yes. Shout out to my psychics. Oh, you can't see it. You can't see it. Anyway, man. The moon's in Libra. The sun is in Aries. I thought I would walk around, give you that social environment feel. Whew. Well, you've made it. You somehow made it to this point and you're not dead. Congratulations. This is very fortuitous. This is going to lever switch the social dynamics with which you take this reimagining of yourself and push it forward. Okay? Neptune is in Aries now. So a lot of the nightmare and the dream and these false narratives and this weird ass strange influencer age that really, deceived a lot of y'all. It didn't deceive us because we're not stupid. But, shout out to y'all who you're not stupid and you've seen through that shit ever since it started. You have people kind of like give into it, get taken over by it, and they're going to be chewed and spit out when they realize that authenticity is the rule of the day, and you can fake it till you make it all day until you want, and you're better off just being yourself, okay? That being said, I swear to God, you better off just being yourself, because where did all that lead you? Back to me. No, I was joking. Oh, God. Thanos one-liners. All right. No, but for real, this is going to really switch really quick. The beautiful thing about this sequence is that by the time we end the week and the moon is in Capricorn, Mercury has crossed over Neptune in Aries, Venus is direct, Saturn has crossed over the North Node. All the shifting in our beliefs that had to change everything we believe about ourselves has really adjusted in favor of this next frontier moving forward. I do like to reference Gemini and Gemini, respective leaders of USA and China going tariff for tariff, because you don't want to get too caught up in the, of course, economic war that is starting to activate right now. What's really happening with this Saturn Aries is this is a 30-year transit. So we have to go back to the 90s. We have to go back to the 60s. And unlike those unlike those decades I mentioned, 2025 is a lot more like the 1800s, where now Neptune is back into Pisces. That's crazy to say, right? But concerning the legacy of many of these countries, right? Why this is significant is now what we're witnessing is the beginnings of the formation of a whole new world order structure. I'm not really saying anything predictive. Everyone knows, like, there are people who don't read astrology, who don't read tarot, and they could just look at the market and see, oh, we're heading into a new world order. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything that you see kind of patterning is going to adjust for this. So the actions that are being taken now that to us look like, oh, this is happening, are actually the first steps towards new alliances, different unions, new enemies, right? This is going to carve out the next 30 to 200 years of what the state of the world is going to look like, who's fucking with who, and the identity of each nationality. That's the most important thing over the next 2 years. How do these authorities, especially the authority of your own self and your rights, identify? Another thing that's very important is many people have been caught up in, forget a fake influencer lifestyle. There's so many false narratives. There's so many, social understandings of reality that aren't real at all, that were never real. And many of you may have felt like you were being, persecuted or sacrificed for your own ideals, in the sense where you're maintaining authenticity in a world that promotes being fake, right? You're promoting being yourself in a society that rewards those who really, no, I'm not going to say fake it till I make it, but rewards those who really don't have as much substance as they claim they do. I don't want to point the fingers and say, oh, these people aren't woke enough. But, you know, the fog of Neptune to rose tint glasses and Pisces and give people the impression that they're more skilled or they're more like, you know, on point than they really are is going to bring back the last two I told you so towards. It's going to bring back the work you've put in relative to why it was important to actually produce and demonstrate receipts versus float off of the image and the idea from people's beliefs that, oh, you know, you've been doing something, and not to diminish people's, you know, like accomplishments, but you're going to see this illusion just pop like a bubble. You're going to see this disillusionment burst. A huge shift into where we're stepping forward into can induce psychosis in a lot of people, because a lot of the security blanket that they've had for the longest time, a lot of the beliefs that they just fell back on, they're going to realize was never real. This is a really prime and ripe for identity crisis. And with Neptune going into Aries and Mercury and Venus going through, lots of realization of divinity. This could now express itself at its worst with a God complex that's uncontrollable, and at its best with just the ever-present realization that you've never been separate from God or the divine, and you never will. And now you're sensing it more within everything as we are all connected in this web, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, with that being said, definitely look forward to the insecurity of those who've never been able to manipulate or influence you with their fallacies, with social expectations, with their vision and belief on what you should be doing at your age, fitting into their box, and walk forward proud as you begin to just demolish more people's framework of understanding, dissolving the fact that they never really knew anything about anything, especially when it comes to you, and how there are consequences and penalties just off on a energetic spiritual basis without having to touch anybody for just even thinking about you wrong. It's active right now. And now that the moon is in Libra, you're gaining this social balanced understanding and context of where you direct this authenticity. Because a lot of people are weak little bitches. They hide behind luxury or a version of it. They hide behind status. They hide behind this sense of themselves that's never been real. So when you get to see who that person is within, they're a weak little bitch. Yeah, they're going to probably even say the same stuff we do and act like, oh, other people are hiding or whatnot. But, you know, we demonstrate, they replicate. It's really as simple as that. You have people who are running around, like you have people who base their entire belief system on a stolen legacy that really was more, you know, plagiarized than anything. I'm not even just talking about one religion, right? So like, I'm not trying to say that to diss people who have a religion. Like, honestly, if you're a Muslim and you practice your faith and integrity, respect. If you're a Christian and you practice your faith and integrity, respect. I'm really just speaking more to the people who just kind of wear these hats and beliefs, not really understanding where these beliefs come from, and then to lord it and preach over people, and you don't even realize you're a bot. Like, you're a fucking bot. Anyway, other than that, why this is really significant, whereas we are reimagining the transcendence of everything we've ever believed we could be, this is also going to harvest the original power you've activated and integrated over the past 2 weeks. And as you now break through and harvest this super powered, classic, balanced Libra moon understanding, all right, this is like walking into a room and all the personal development around how you have changed your mindset through Gemini and analyzed your behavior through Virgo. This is helping you understand how you present it. The moon in Virgo was your montage scene where you were practicing. And now the moon in Libra is where we perform. We're no longer practicing. We're playing that playoff game. Weak little bitches rely on hearsay. They rely on peer pressure. These people do not have individual power on their own unless they're using it to threaten violence or coercion, because they've never really known power in their life. Power is still. Power doesn't try and force you. Power doesn't try and pressure you to do its will. Weak people need to do that. And you have people standing above thinking they have any power, but they're going to be the first ones chopped down by that sort of motherfucking truth. Okay? And you can speak this word. You never need a gun as long as you speak the word of truth. I'm looking at infinity right now. That's amazing. So yeah, with that being said, do not be ashamed to share this gospel, Romans 1:16, and really be willing to now be receptive to how specifically you are guiding yourself and others to break through into this greater direction and next step of your character and individuality. As it goes into Scorpio, it's going to purify, strengthen, psychoanalytical, psychological transformation of how you draw boundaries and deal with others. But congrats, we have started harvesting. Specifically tomorrow, the sun is going to be on Chiron, which is going to start another cycle of self-healing, but now at the master degrees. Okay? Allow hurt people to try and hurt you before they realize they'll get fucked up even trying you without you having to lift a finger. All right? A lot of this Chiron transit is really asking yourself, do you really respect yourself? And if you do, why would you lower yourself to the level of weak, stupid little bitches who your presence literally irritates them because it triggers their own inferiority complex relative to how much they depended on looking at you as less than you are, just so that they don't necessarily feel as insecure and they have some kind of leverage to make themselves feel powerful. A lot of people do this maybe without even knowing, and you bring light to the consciousness of these habits, and instead of working on it, they may, push at you. This is what makes them a stupid, weak little bitch. But outside of that, your continued forward movement with the conviction of your own authenticity is really all you have to continue to do. Everything is going to really work around establishing that. And now with the Libra moon, you get an intellectual, logical, social understanding of balancing how much of yourself you can give, how not to give too much, how not to give too little. And now all the work that you have pretty much planted the seed with, you're ready to harvest. There are a lot of social expectations, social beliefs brought about by people's cultures, traditions that people have brought about from their parents, their parents' parents, their parents' parents' parents, and it makes up the core of who they are. That's why this next shift is going to ruin them, because none of that was ever real. All right. And a lot of people don't like to hear that the culture, your parents, your grandparents really work towards to really establish, it's dissolving, it's going down the drain. A lot of that shit will not exist in 50 years. So if you don't necessarily embrace who spirit has revealed to you, which is going to sound weird as fuck, it's going to sound crazy because you can't read it in a textbook, it's not something a historian can map out for you, then yeah, if you're not able to tap into that, you're going to really go into the trash. You can embrace your roots. I'm not saying you should just deny your roots, but to the extent that you're basing it on something that was created and invented versus a facet of you that always existed before you were born, you don't want to sell yourself short. And this is where you don't want to get so caught up and try to impress other people who don't know you that you really don't allow yourself to step in fully as who you've always been, now that we are reimagining ourselves. Me, I'm the sexiest motherfucker alive. This is the sexiest motherfucker you've ever seen do a magic message, and I might as well be the sexiest astrologer ever. I've always been the sexiest. I'm just really I was about to, cut my hair today, but the barber was busy, so I'm gonna go in tomorrow, but I mean, still sexy. Still sexy. I mean, look at myself. Look at myself. Gorgeous. The woman can't stop thinking about me. They're like, oh my God, when is the Peace Dealer gonna upload another horoscope? I got you, baby. Look at me. All right. Anyway, there we go. That's it. You think I give a fuck about anyone who thinks I'm ugly? They're fucking blind. They don't know how to see straight. All right, and it's a shame. And that's the attitude you want to have. All right, that's it. You don't have to really accept anything else. Your mom did not raise a coward. You're not a coward. Your dad did not raise a coward. Whether, your mom or dad were in your life or not, or you raised yourself. If you raised yourself, you didn't raise a coward. Okay, so that's it. Really stand on it. Be prepared to present this And be prepared to harvest, baby, because the supernatural potential of these powers, especially with the moon trining Pluto, is going to give you direct application on how specifically to now move and shake and develop your relationships with this understanding. You guys stay blessed as always, and until next time.